Settlers in Michigan. Lifestyle back then wasn't the same as it is nowadays. Their housing, work, transportation, food, and all their clothing was different. Housing was especially different. Settlers lived in towns called villages. They didn't have the big city life back then. The settlers also lived near rivers and large bodies of water. They relied on this for transportation also, that we'll learn a little bit later. These people also lived in houses made of birch bark called wigwams or teepees. They didn't live in brick houses like we do. Work was especially important. Many tribes had jobs in the land, just as our farmers do nowadays. These people farmed and they traded goods with other tribes, just as a supermarket gets goods from the farmers that they sell to the consumers. They also made goods to sell to settlers, so they traded goods in order to get more money or more products for work. Transportation was especially important. Since the settlers lived off the land, they usually worked from place to place. Settlers also built boats called birch bark canoes, like they built their houses, to travel down the river. It was especially important so they could trade those goods and get the food that they needed for their settler tribe. Food was another issue. They didn't have stores or supermarkets for their food, so they relied on the farming and the hunting that they did within their tribe. If they needed other goods, they would either move to another part of the land or they would trade with other tribes to get the food that they needed. Clothing was different than it was nowadays. Furs and animal skins were used to make most clothes. They would use this for their shirt, pants, and they made moccasins. And I know moccasins are now worn, but I'm not sure if it's exactly made out of the deer hide that it used to be. Everything they used was found in nature. What is different about your life to what it was back then? Are there any similarities or differences that you can find?